Good morning. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's have a real conversation. I've been looking forward to this one. You know, I've been thinking about something lately. There are a lot of conversations about women over 50, but most of them seem to focus on what we've lost. Our youth, our energy, our metabolism. Can we just have a moment for that metabolism? I'm pretty sure mine packed its bags years ago and never left a forwarding address. But seriously, why is that always the conversation? Why don't we spend more time talking about everything we've gained? Because honestly, I think getting older has given me far more than it's taken away. Now, don't get me wrong, there are mornings I get out of bed and something hurts for absolutely no reason. And I think, well, that's new. My knees remind me how old I am every once in a while. Reading a restaurant menu in dim lighting has become a team sport. And if somebody invents a way to stop gravity, I'll be first in line. But here's the part that surprised me. I wouldn't trade who I am today for the woman I was at 30. Not because she wasn't wonderful. She was doing the best she could. But she hadn't lived enough yet. I actually thought about that for a while before I said it, because I know some people would say, oh, I'd love to be 30 again. And don't get me wrong, there are certain things I'd take back. I'd take the energy, for sure. I'd take the metabolism. I'd take being able to get off the floor without making noises. But would I trade the woman I've become? Absolutely not. Not for 1 second. 30-year-old Shelley was still trying to figure out who she was. She was still trying to make everybody happy. She still believed success was about what everybody else could see. Now, success looks very different to me. Success is peace. Success is going to bed knowing I treated people well. Success is having a couple of people in my life that I know I can count on. Success is waking up excited about something. Funny how life has a way of teaching us what really matters, right? The truth is, I'm grateful for every one of those lessons. Truly. And can I tell you something I used to do? Maybe you'll relate. When I was younger, if I thought I'd said something that came out wrong, I'd replay that conversation over and over. Have you ever done that? You're driving home thinking, I probably shouldn't have said that. I wonder if she took that the wrong way. I probably sounded stupid. And then you wake up the next morning and you're still thinking about it. While you're in the shower, while you're getting ready, sometimes for days. Now, I still care about people. I always will. I want to be kind. I want to treat people well. But I don't spend 3 days worrying about whether every single person approves of me. Somewhere along the way, it finally clicked for me. Not everybody is going to understand you. Not everybody is going to like you. And that's okay. The people who know your heart, know your heart. And once I truly accepted that, life became a whole lot lighter. I think that's one of the greatest gifts that comes with age, clarity. You start figuring out what actually matters, and equally important, what doesn't. You stop chasing things that never really brought you peace in the first place. And here's another thing I've noticed. My friendships have changed. When I was younger, I thought having lots of friends was important. Now, I'd rather have a couple of people I can call when life gets messy or when wonderful things happen. People who know the real me. People I don't have to pretend around. People who don't care if my house is perfect or if I'm wearing makeup or if my hair looks wild that day. Well, okay, let's be honest. My hair always looks beautiful now with these new wigs I've added to my life. But those are the friendships I treasure now. The older I get, the more I value genuine people over impressive people. You know what else changes? Shopping. Years ago, I'd buy clothes because they were in style or because I thought other people would like them. And if I'm being really honest, sometimes because I thought a man might like them. Whatever. Now, if I like it, I buy it. If it's comfortable, even better. If somebody else doesn't like it, hey, they don't have to wear it, right? There is something wonderfully freeing about reaching the point where you stop asking for permission to simply be yourself. And let's talk about peace for a minute, because I think peace becomes one of the most valuable things we own. When I was younger, I filled every minute, always busy, always thinking about what came next. What's the next goal? What's the next project? What's the next thing I need to accomplish? Now, I still work hard. I still enjoy learning. I still like staying busy. But I've also learned the value of sitting with a good cup of coffee, just enjoying the quiet, sitting outside, listening to the wind. Those ordinary moments don't feel so ordinary anymore. They feel like gifts. The older I get, the more I appreciate this. You know, time changes, not because there are fewer hours in the day, but because you start realizing how valuable those hours really are. When I was younger, I'd say yes to things I really didn't want to because I didn't want to disappoint anybody. Now, I protect my calendar a lot more. I protect my peace a lot more. And here's why. Every time I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else. Maybe that's time with my dog, Shitty Bang Bang. Yes, her name is Shitty Bang Bang, and there's a story behind that. Or maybe it's a quiet cup of coffee. Maybe it's reading from my Kindle. Maybe it's simply sitting outside, enjoying the peace and quiet. Those little moments, they matter now, and I don't feel guilty for protecting them anymore. I think that's another beautiful part of getting older. You begin noticing things you used to rush right past. A beautiful sunrise, a phone call from someone you love, a really good conversation, a dog that's just happy because you walked in the room. Life slows down, not because we stop living, but because we finally notice we're living. And I love that. And here's something else nobody tells you. Learning doesn't stop at 50 or 60 or 70. I'll be honest with you. There are days when I sit down in front of my computer and I honestly think, what in the world have I gotten myself into? I'm learning things I never imagined I'd be learning. Editing videos, lighting, microphones, YouTube. And some days I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But then I figure one little thing out, then another, then another. And before long, I'm doing something that felt impossible just a few weeks earlier. I mean, isn't that how all of us learn? Nobody learns everything in one day. Nobody becomes an expert overnight. Sometimes we compare our beginning to someone else's 10th year in, and that's just not fair to ourselves. We all have a beginning. I think we need to give ourselves permission to be beginners again, because beginners learn, beginners grow, beginners are hungry for knowledge, and learning keeps us young in ways that have absolutely nothing to do with wrinkles, okay? I've heard women say, I'm too old to start a hobby, too old to learn technology, too old to try something different. But I've got a question for you. Who decided that? Because I don't believe it, not for a second. Sometimes we become our own biggest obstacles. We tell ourselves no before life ever gets a chance to answer. And what if, instead of saying, I'm too old, we started saying, I've never done that before? Do you hear the difference? One door closes, the other opens one. I've also stopped comparing myself to younger women. Why would I? They're living their chapter, I'm living mine. I don't want to be 28 again. I don't want to worry about the things I worried about then. I don't want to wonder if I'm enough. I know I'm enough now. Not because I'm perfect, far from it, but because I've finally learned that my worth has never depended on perfection. It never did. I just didn't know it yet. Maybe you've been feeling invisible lately. A lot of women over 50 feel that way. And if there's one thing I hope you remember from today, it's this. Invisible doesn't mean invaluable. Your experiences matter. Your wisdom matters. Your kindness matters. Your laughter matters. Your life matters. You may never know how much your encouragement means to someone else. I mean, sometimes all a person needs is someone who truly understands. Sometimes they don't need advice. They just need to know they're not the only one. And one thing I absolutely love about this season of my life is permission. Permission to say no. Permission to laugh loudly. Permission to wear what makes you happy. And permission to stop apologizing for taking up space. Permission to protect your peace. And maybe, most importantly, permission to dream a little again. Not because you're trying to prove something, not because you're trying to impress anybody, simply because you're still here. And as long as we're here, there are still memories to make. There's still lessons to learn, books to read, places to go, people to meet, reason to laugh, and still coffee to drink. I honestly believe every decade has something beautiful to offer. Our 20s teach us, our 30s stretch us, our 40s strengthen us, and I think our 50s, well, our 50s finally start introducing us to ourselves. We stop trying so hard to become who everybody else expects us to be and start becoming the woman we've been all along. And I think that's a beautiful place to be. Let me leave you with this. What if this season of your life isn't something to survive, right? Finally, what if it's actually something to enjoy? What if the best thing you do this year isn't some huge accomplishment? What if it's simply laughing more, or taking better care of yourself, or calling an old friend, or taking a walk around the block, or doing something you've been curious about, or finally giving yourself permission to stop apologizing for being exactly who you are? Because here's what I believe. Life doesn't stop giving us beautiful moments after 50. Sometimes that's when we finally slow down enough to notice them. And maybe that's been the gift all along. Can I ask you something? What have you gained because you've gotten older? Not what you've lost, what you've gained. I'd really love to know. And if you're comfortable sharing, leave your thoughts in the comments, and I promise I'll read every single one, and I'll personally reply to every comment, because that's what I hope these coffee chats become. You know, not just a place where I talk, but a place where we have real conversations, where we encourage each other and learn from each other and laugh together and remind each other that none of us are walking through life alone. Thank you for spending part of your morning with me. I truly hope these coffee chats always feel like two women sitting across the table, sharing a cup of coffee, sharing a few laughs, sharing a little wisdom, and reminding each other that every season of life has something beautiful to offer. Take good care of yourself this week. Be kind to yourself. Protect your peace. Notice the little things and celebrate how far you've come. And don't be afraid to look forward to what's still ahead, because I honestly believe some of life's sweetest moments are still waiting for us. And remember, getting older didn't make my world smaller, it made it clearer. I'll see you next Sunday. Thanks so much.